So, Brenton, at the half.
Can I address something beforehand? I love this Lions team. Like, this was a real Sophie's choice for me. Obviously, Matthew Stafford's my guy, but I hope the Lions win the Super Bowl. Dan Campbell, Jared Goff, who admittedly, Wilson, you were early on, but you were right. He is fantastic. Jahmyr Gibbs, incredible. Amon St. Brown. Sam Laporta has no business being out there, and he's just grinding it out there because Campbell's his coach. Aleem McNeil, my guy on defense. I love this Lions team. The Stafford Lions matchup was something I really wanted to see. I thought Stafford played incredible, and Goff was just as good. And this came down to, as I said on HQ multiple times with you, Wilson, on Saturday, or maybe in the pregame when we were doing the pick show, who would be more aggressive coaching? And that might flip the game. And I think that is what flipped this game. I thought Stafford hit his hand on Aleem's helmet, and that cut it open. He didn't care. He played through it. Goff went 22 of 27 for 277 yards and a touchdown, no picks. He was tremendous. This game clearly meant a ton to him. The GM, the head coach of the Rams, they dumped him for Stafford and won a title and shipped him to Detroit where Stafford couldn't win. And he's here with a winner going to the divisional round. Stafford, I mean, this mattered to him. Stafford taking his place, it mattered to him. And he played like it did. He won this game for them. Goff is awesome. I think the difference in this game, a 24-23, fantastic NFC wildcard matchup, was coaching. Sean McVay was scared, and Dan Campbell wasn't. Sean McVay is a much better offensive mind than Dan Campbell is. But Dan Campbell is a balls-to-the-wall players coach of all-time players coach who has taken this Detroit Lions team that was complete crap for forever, despite good job by Jim Schwartz and Matthew Stafford, and turned them into like the new favorites in the NFC North for years to come.
All right, Breach, tell me what you think about this. 14-10 early in the second quarter, and to piggyback off what Brenson's talking about in terms of what Dan Campbell's done all year in terms of being aggressive. 3rd and 3 from the plus 4 yard line. They get to the 2. John Skipper comes in, or Dan Skipper. He is eligible as a fat guy, and they go for it on 4th and 1 from the 2 yard line, and Goff throws to Laporta. And not only, here's the other thing that I meant to mention with the previous game we talked about. We sort of talked about Matt LaFleur doing a great job. And then yesterday we talked about Bobby Slowick doing a great job scheming them open. Ben Johnson, great job. Michael Hoyt was in coverage on Sam Laporta. Michael Hoyt is an edge rusher who looks like he probably works at a bowling alley part-time. Fantastic season, but he does drop into coverage a lot for a big guy. He was in coverage on the TD pass to Sam Laporta on 4th down. That makes it 21-10.
How was that midfield fade call to Amon St. Brown? It was like on the third and short where they ran like a goal line fade at midfield. Incredible design.
So that touchdown Breach made it 3 touchdowns on the first 3 drives. And that I made a note there because this is what it reminded me of, because I told you guys this when we were debating why in God's name would you go for 2 from the 7 yard line in that Cowboys game. And I said, I don't think that game matters. I think Dan Campbell is sending a message to his team that we're going to roll with by being aggressive. And that's sort of what I got from that. What'd you think of that play?
I didn't think that was necessarily what I took from it. I think that Dan Campbell watched his defense get absolutely gashed up on the Rams' first 2 possessions with Stafford going up and down the field. I think their first drive, which ended in a field goal, went for 69 yards. Then they had the touchdown drive for 72 yards where Nakua got the 50-yard touchdown. So when you see your defense has no hope of stopping the Rams offense to that point, you're thinking, wow, we probably need to put up as many points as possible, and that means going for it on 4th and 1 from the Rams too. I mean, that's obviously Campbell's he's aggressive. That's his nature. We've seen it all year. So there was never, I mean, I thought he was going for this the whole time, and I thought it was the right decision, and he made it pay off. And the fact that Laporta, who was carted off the freaking field last week, 7 days later he couldn't even walk off a football field, in week 18. And he not only did he play, but he catches the touchdown pass. That was insane. So yeah, I mean, I thought he made the right decision, but and we'll talk about the McVay versus Campbell and I guess the coaching difference, but I didn't really think, because the difference in the game was the red zone. The Lions got in the red zone 3 times. They scored 3 touchdowns. The Rams got in the red zone 3 times. They scored 0 touchdowns. They settled for 3 field goals. But looking at those field goals, I only think there was one instance where Campbell might have gone for it. I think he also kicks the field goals on 2 of the 3 situations, which were 4th and 8s. But the other one where I just wasn't sure.
Are you saying if you flip McVay and Campbell?
Yes.
Yeah, that's good. That's fair. That's fair.
So I thought there was only one instance where Campbell would have gone for it. So I don't think that McVay on those, forget the play calls that got us to that situation. I'm just talking about that actual play. I didn't think that McVay played
the final punt though.
Are we already there? Should we talk about it?
Here, let's hold on. Let's back up. Let's start here.
Well, real quick. I mean, the Rams averaged 7.
Let's start with the timeouts, and we'll get to that. Let's start with the timeouts. So, Sean McVay called his first timeout of the second half with 13:30 to go in the third quarter.
Not good.
Yeah, that's terrible.
By the way, if you ever have the prop of which team's going to call a timeout first, always bet the Rams. It hits every time. I'm not even kidding.
You're not even kidding. The second timeout they called, literally 15 game minutes later, 13:47 to go in the fourth quarter. So they have 1 left. So they already have their back against the wall. So 1 timeout, and go ahead, Brinson, with that last punt.
Well, I mean, the timeout thing, oh my God. The timeout thing drives me nuts because it's hard to explain. Like, you have Matthew Stafford and Sean McVay. How is this an issue where you need to use the timeouts? At the same time, like, you trust McVay to make sure you get the right play in. So if you do use the timeouts, it's one thing. But you get there and you're down 1 point, right? Yep. And you decide on the 44. So we're looking at a 61-yard field goal. Third and 14 on the 44. They let Stafford throw it, and then they punt. And I think at that point, given you got Aaron Donald, and that's great, and Raheem Morris has been awesome, but man, the Lions are so aggressive. And I'll
say this, though, sorry to interrupt you, but that play was because Aiden Hutchinson got held. Another sort of bold move by Dan Campbell, not to let it be 4th and 6, make it be 3rd down.
Yeah, Dan Campbell took the penalty. That's right. Yeah.
So that's why they moved back.
You're right, because I think actually, so in the moment I was thinking about this. I think if he declines a penalty, Sean McVay's not going for it. He's kicking.
No, he's kicking it. That's right. Yeah,
100%. And they're probably making the field goal from there.
Breach is Maher making that?
Maher's making a 51-yard field goal.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know about that.
Well, I mean, but Sean McVay's definitely kicking at 4th and 4, right?
Yes,
that I agree with.
Yeah, probably.
From 51. Yeah, McVay loves to kick, especially down 1.
He went for it on 4th down earlier, 4th and 6, 4th and 5.
I was surprised he went for that.
But I thought, to your point, Wilson, I'm glad you interrupted me, because I think that this coaching psychological stuff here was huge. The penalty's called. It can either be 4th and 4, 51-yard field goal for the Rams, who are down 1, and Dan Campbell can say, all right, I know Sean McVay's going to kick, and I can let him kick and go up 2 points, maybe, or I get the ball back and it's over, or I can pull him back there. He's probably not going to, like, McVay should have played like a draw to go for it on 4th down or to kick after that. And instead he played to get it or punt. You know what I mean? Like, McVay is so notoriously conservative that Campbell knew he would pull him back. He either try to get the first down or he'd punt and let his defense play ball. And I think Campbell won the psychology there in terms of coaching.
And one other thing, because it was such a crazy situation that they were there, because you only have 1 timeout left. So the situation is, it is 4th and 14. You were at the Lions' 44-yard line. You can go for it. You can punt. You can try the field goal. And granted, Brett Maher has not been the greatest kicker. I mean, the Rams freaking cut the guy earlier this season before bringing him back. His percentage during the regular season with LA in 2023 was 74%. So not entirely accurate. We all remember his playoff meltdown with the Cowboys, but that was mostly extra points. that he struggled with. But here's the one thing with Brett Maher. He is literally the best kicker in NFL history when it comes to kicking field goals from 60 yards or longer. He has made 4 of them. Nobody else in NFL history has made 4. Not Justin Tucker, not Sebastian Janikowski. And not only has made 4 of them, but he's 4 for 4. He's never missed. So he's the only kicker with multiple field goal attempts from 60 yards or more who has made 100% of his kicks. And so if I know my kicker can hit that, if I saw him do it at least once in warmups, I am setting him out there because I only have 1 timeout left. And if he misses that, if they get a first down, the game's over anyway. So if you punt and they get a first down, the game's over. If you miss the field goal and they get a first down, it doesn't matter where on the field it is. It's not like the Lions are going to drive down and go get a touchdown because you missed this field goal. It doesn't matter that they're closer to the end zone because 1 first down, 2 first downs, that's going to end the game. So I probably would have tried the field goal. That's my field goal rant.
No, I mean, I think that Sean McVay is notorious for playing scared, is not going to be aggressive late in games. And I think I think this came down to who was more aggressive in coaching. Dan Campbell was, Sean McVay wasn't. Stafford played awesome. The Rams skill guys played awesome. The Lions defense was okay at times. The Rams defense was okay at times. Rams defense was great in the second half. Lions defense made some stops. First half was a shootout. It came down to who wanted to be more aggressive, and Dan Campbell was.
I just don't think that it's fair to say that Campbell was way more aggressive than McVay. They both went for it on 4th down once. They both got it. And again, if we flip the situation, I didn't see a ton of places where Campbell would have done something differently than what McVay did. I think McVay made one questionable decision. It's the 4th and 14. But what do you think Dan Campbell does there? Do you think he goes for it on 4th and 14? Do you think he tries the field goal? Do you think he punts it?
I'll tell you exactly what he does. So, because I was looking this up, and it sort of supports your point. And by the way, if Dan Campbell hadn't gotten the decision to throw it with Jared Goff to Sam Laporte, if that falls incomplete, people are whinging about that because you only had 1 yard to go. But early in the third quarter, they have 4th and 16, the Lions do, from their 35, or from the Rams 35, which is a similar situation to what would have happened had Dan Campbell declined the penalty when the Rams were there later in the game. And they sent out Michael Badgley to try a 54-yarder, and he absolutely smokes it. Who, by the way,
had a 43% career percentage from beyond 50, so it was not a sure thing at all.
So Dan Campbell took some gambles, and they paid off in those instances. And I think, to Britz's point, it maybe if you were moving back to 4th and 14, you run 2 plays to try to get that yardage, not all for nothing.
Run a draw to Ronnie Rivers or whoever, and get it. But now look, just to give Breach credit here, I think that to me this game was 2 teams that played awesome, and it came down to a couple decisions. It's the opposite of the first game. Right, where the Packers deep pants the Cowboys, and it was an embarrassment. This was just it's a 1-point game in a crazy NFC matchup between Stafford and Goff, 2 guys who were traded for each other. It's everything you could have asked for. Somehow it didn't go over, even though it was a shootout in the first half. And I will put blame on McVay for the late game aggressiveness, but I agree with you that ultimately this was just a really good playoff game. That's all it was. It's I'm not going to take away, wow, Sean McVay can't be a great coach in the NFL, or, oh, Dan Campbell is the future of coaching in the NFL. To me, it's just, this is a great wildcard weekend matchup. And it was, look, the Rams 7.7 yards per play to 6.1 for the Lions. 425 yards to 334. To Breach's point, they executed it in the red zone better than the Rams did. It was just a good game. That's all. I don't know.